That following on from pretty gutsy effort last week.
Yeah, look, our last 4 weeks have been really good, so that's probably what makes it frustrating. But look, you've got to give them credit. I mean, they played really, really well. I mean, everyone sort of talked them down a lot. They were just far too good, in all aspects of the game. They beat us inside, they beat us outside. Tactically, they moved the ball really well. And even I thought when we got in front, we looked tired. We didn't look like... Whereas last week we were up and about, we had a lot of energy, and you sensed last week when we got in front we were going to win. I think today when we got in front, we didn't really look like we could keep on going. Now that's a combination of a lot of things, I think, but we certainly, our younger players today look really, really fried, really lacked energy. So we just had too many passengers today to get over the line, to get over the hump. So, it's obviously a bitterly disappointing day, given our last month and where we think we're at. But hopefully it's not a true reflection of what we can dish up throughout the course of the year.
Wayne Carey said on radio that it looked like the players were playing with fat heads. Is that not your indication of what you saw going into the game? Or?
We didn't see it going into the game. But, I mean, where that lack of energy comes from, it's some of them... Possibly, yeah. I mean, some of them would have gone in possibly thinking, this is going to be an easy game. I think some of them were tired, so there's a distinct difference. But it's hard after the game to work out the 22 and put them in categories. You can probably, Brayshaw looked tired, Oliver looked tired. You could probably put a few of them in the Jack Viney looked tired. So we've had a pretty big 5 weeks. Admittedly, it was only NAB Cup, but we needed to do that in order to prepare our team. But I don't think he's far off the mark. I think there's some of them that probably would have turned up today thinking it's a pretty easy day at the office, and we know AFL footy can certainly bite you on the backside.
I guess the big thing for you guys is what do you do as a reaction to that? You have Demons fans going, we were really worried about that. That's the old Melbourne, and you want to take this one forward.
Yep.
How do you put this behind you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think dissecting why is really, really important. So you probably, the guys that you generally felt were tired, you've got to work out, okay, do you play them next week? Do you rest them? Do you rest them during the week? So there's definitely that factor with probably half a dozen of them. The ones that you perhaps thought were big-headed, you got to sit them down and you say, well, you got to respect the competition. So there's a number of ways that you go about it. Clearly, from our point of view, it's round 2. And as I said, we've had a good 5 weeks, and today was not acceptable. So you've got to get back on the horse, and you've got to work out ways to fix the problem.
Have you got a grasp on how many you think are in that bracket who did underestimate the Bombers?
Oh, look, it's hard because I haven't got the list in front of me, but it's probably easier for the ones that look tired because they're more the young ones, or a Viney that's had a fair bit of work, or Harms look tired, Hogues look pretty tired, so they're probably easier to reflect on. The others, a little bit harder, but and you're also looking at patterns that have happened too often. And they're an indication of certain things you see in different players.
Does it make you angry that some players potentially went into this game taking it lightly in that sense, given what's happened and how many steps forward you look like you've taken?
Yeah, and I think I said after the game, a team, whilst you want to play as a team, is made up of 22 individuals. Every individual within that team needs to prepare himself well and needs to present well every single week. Today we didn't have enough individuals, so it does make me angry. It makes you angry for the supporters. But we've got to take responsibility as coaches as well. Clearly we didn't pick the right team. We have been the last month. I reckon we've been picking the right team. But it's hard off the back of a win to make too many changes. But I don't think we picked the right team today. But again, it's hard because unless you see the signs during the week, it's difficult to, the crystal ball what a sad day is going to look like.
The immediate reaction from some Melbourne people, like social media, whatever, seem to be that this is a very Melbourne thing to happen. Do you see what they're getting at, and how difficult do you think this club finds it to shed that sort of image, stereotype?
Oh, you can obviously share it. Yeah, absolutely. Today I guess the expectations are, that you come to win the game. But I think the disappointing thing, as we've touched on, is you have to respect the opposition, But if you don't, it doesn't matter who you're playing against. I thought they played very, very well. They all played well. If you look through their stat sheet, I mean, Zarak's had 34, and you go down the list, they had a lot of the ball. They used the ball well. They played really, really well. So I can absolutely see the Melbourne supporters' frustration. And it often comes on the back of a really good performance. So that probably adds to the frustration, because we felt last week and we felt our last month's been very, very good, and that, rather than lessens it, probably adds to it. But we'd like to think that we have come forward, and that's certainly from a coaching point of view. We'll look at the reasons, but we've got to continue down the path we believe is the right path.
Just following on from that, how big a setback is today, or does that remain to be seen in how quickly you can rebound?
Well, again, it hasn't seemed to have been. I mean, that's the other interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, it hasn't seemed to. The next week hasn't seemed to follow a disastrous performance. It just seems that it comes out of nowhere, and then next week, I can't remember who we played the week before we played Geelong, but we went down to Geelong last year and beat. So again, that's probably as concerning if you're a Melbourne supporter, that you tend to come out next week and it has no bearing on the following week. So we need to identify why the lack of consistency and why those games tend to happen.
The funny thing is, if you kick another 2 and a bit goals today, you could be sitting here now saying, well, this is a sign of our maturity. We didn't play well, yet we still got the points.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and it's probably the message we gave at half time. That's as bad as we've played probably in a long period of time, but we were in the game. So even today there were some signs, but the reality is, statistically, we got well beaten in most areas. And as I said before, unlike last week when we hit the front today, it still didn't look like we had much energy to sort of go on with the game. It looked like maybe if they missed a kick and we got the ball back of their volition, not our volition, then we'd score. So I thought there was a distinct difference between this week's comeback and probably the 4 we've had over the last month. We've been behind every other team. We've come over the top. Today we got in front, but we still didn't really look like we were in control of the game.
Did anyone impress you?
From them or us? Oh, look, I thought H's effort to come back, was really, really positive. It was a bit touch and go. In hindsight, playing him was the right move. Playing Brayshaw was the wrong move, So that's probably when I talk about today, the selection. You get one right, you get one wrong. I thought H is going. Ben Kennedy, and that's, again, the message to the players afterwards. Most of the guys we've got from other clubs, they're second chance guys. They're working really hard to get a game. They're really fanatical about their craft. They want to play AFL football, and that's another example of one of those guys that we've got that really kept us in the game. I don't think he had 20 and kicked 3, and not single-handedly, but we only had about half a dozen guys that played pretty good footy, and he was very good today. Thanks, guys.